Okay, we are good to go. It's another wonderful Maximize Monday, and I'm really, really excited tonight because we have a young man who's our guest, Armando DeGuzman Jr. And I'm going to give away my age a little bit, but I think I know Armando since he was in elementary school. And how is that possible? Because we've been friends with his dad forever. Actually, Armando, believe it or not, your dad and I met 23 years ago, and he always tells this story that he picked me up in a phone booth because I used to leave postcards. You're probably too young to even remember phone booths, but some of us on the call are old enough to remember phone booths. But Armando DeGuzman Jr. is truly an entrepreneur, just like his dad. And he has always been a hard worker, ambitious, and graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in business. And one of his passions lie in making a difference in people's lives to unlock their full potential, very much like us who are so huge in the area of personal and professional development. And he was introduced to network marketing, obviously, at a very young age, but was really negative because he saw his dad, a surgeon, a former surgeon, he now doesn't do that anymore, but he saw his dad fail. The word is fail in 13 companies over a period of probably over a decade. And when we introduced Dr. DeGuzman to XANGO, it made such a difference. And now Armando Jr.'s journey has led him to achieve massive success. And we are proud to consider him not just a business partner, but a dear friend. He's a six-figure earner and totally believes that the company is now strategically poised for massive growth, what we're calling XANGO 2.0. And he is determined to push humanity forward and empower individuals who want to live healthier and happier lives and ignite their fullest potential to be extraordinary and living life limitless. So I'm going to mute myself out, Armando, and you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandy. I'm sorry, I apologize if the video feed, maybe my mouth is not in sync with the audio because we're calling in, so I may look like one of those old school kung fu movies where the guys are talking but they're not making any noises, so I apologize for that. But I wanted you guys to see me because I think, like Sandy said, people learn in different ways, and I think seeing the emotion that I put forward is a huge part of the way that I present. So I want to thank you guys. Thank you, Sandy, for asking me to speak on this opportunity call. It's always a pleasure, and Sandy is correct. I've been around network marketing since I was 9 years old, so I've seen a lot, primarily through my father, through his experience. I've lived vicariously through him and then directly in the industry for about 13 years. And I do consider Sandy and Ed Cohen mentors, along with a lot of the million-dollar earners that we have in XANGO. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your guidance and your mentorship. So I want to thank you guys for having me on the call. And I'm sure what I'm going to share with you guys is nothing new. But as all of the leaders know, that when you have somebody new come into town and they present something that you've been talking about to your organizations for a very long time, it finally clicks because they hear it from somebody else, because nobody's a prophet in their own land. So I'm going to go through my presentation as far as what I go through with people, with prospects, with our team here in Tucson. And what I start off with is I start off with the why, more importantly than anything, before I get to the what and the how of why XANGO. And so before we get to there, you know, the topic of the conversation, of the presentation, is called Living Limitless. And I think that when we talk about what people want in life, it's truly that to live a limitless lifestyle. It's to live that extraordinary life. And I love Tony Robbins' definition of an extraordinary life. He says an extraordinary life is defined by two things. He says it's the science of achievement, which is what we're all taught to think about success, right, which is success and the riches that come with it and being able to appreciate abundance. But there's also a flip side to that, because if you only focus on that, you're not going to live an extraordinary life. And the other side of the equation is the art of fulfillment. And so we're really passionate about personal development, and we're really passionate about helping people live a limitless lifestyle. But what that encompasses is not only success, but it's also what you're passionate about, living a life full of purpose. And so ultimately what we focus on, and this is what the XANGO proposition is, it's health, it's wealth, and it's personal development. And these are the three pillars of what one can hope to gain by joining this amazing organization, this amazing team, this amazing group of individuals, these partners, that quite honestly I view as family. And ultimately, when you bring all of this together, what it equates to is growth. And this is something that we're really passionate about, because as individuals, as humans, we're placed on this planet, and by the very act of living, we grow. Much like nature does. You plant a seed, you water it, you nurture it, and it begins to grow. Under the right conditions, in the right environment, it begins to grow. And so it doesn't matter what you want to achieve in life. It doesn't matter what it is that you want to accomplish. There really is a science to getting there, to that achievement. That's why Tony Robbins says it's the science of achievement, because if you see something that successful people have and you want what they have, you got to do what they did to get what they got, right? It's a formula. The problem is that most people are only interested in success and they're not really fully committed. Of course, the other side of the equation is the art of fulfillment, right, which indicates that what makes me happy is different than what makes Sandy happy. And what makes Sandy happy is different than what makes Kali happy, or different leaders, right? And so ultimately, that's a matter of interpretation. But when it comes to success, there is a formula. And when it comes to growth, though, we have to always be paying attention to what is the next step that we need to take in order to achieve growth. Because I love this video here. It shows this depiction of this domino effect. We've all heard the domino effect, and I think that so many of us want to achieve great things in life. We want to have an extraordinary life, but the reality is we just don't know how to get there, and too many of us are trying to tackle that large domino without really paying attention to what are the small steps that I need to take on a daily basis in order to take me to that level of success that I want to achieve. And so my goal every time I get in front of an audience is that I want to instill value. So I want you guys who are maybe listening to this for the first time to walk away, whether this opportunity is for you or not, but I want you to walk away with some value, some things that are possibly going to maybe shift the way that you think about success, the way that you think about life in general. And one of the things that I like to talk about are beliefs. And I question people and I ask, what are your belief systems? Because they say that a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I love this picture right here. If you know me and if you've heard me present, I like to use imagery to get a point across. Because you have this word that says belief, but buried in the word belief is the word lie. Because a lot of times the beliefs that we hold are lies that we are telling ourselves. And if you take that a step further, a lot of times the beliefs that we hold, we inherit them not only through our environment, but through social conditioning and social contagion. So by the virtue of hanging around by the people that we hang around with, by the people that we were brought up by the environment, by our culturescape, we've all heard the word landscape. Well, there's also another word called culturescape. We inherit beliefs through this mechanism. And ultimately, these beliefs are the way that we live our life. They dictate every decision that we make. And Steve Jobs put it very succinctly. He said, everything that you call life was made up by people no smarter than you. So the question is, what do you believe? And we can talk about a range of different things. We can get into a philosophical discussion, but the question is, what do you believe about success? Because this is an opportunity call, and I want you guys to really kind of let that sink in a little bit. What do you believe about success? What do you believe about what it takes to become successful? What do you believe defines success? And a more striking question that a lot of people may not ask themselves very often, or may not even be cognizant of this, but who are you listening to? And more importantly, who are your mentors? Is a very powerful question. Because a lot of people may say, I don't have any mentors, but the reality is mentors are anybody who you listen to, anybody that you go to for advice, whether it's health advice, whether it's wealth advice, whether it's advice about relationships. And I always say, don't ever take advice from anybody that you wouldn't want to switch places with. Because too often, we're going out there and we're asking people for their opinions, and they give us their opinion, and they're just sincerely trying to help you, but they could sincerely be wrong, and their opinion is a belief that we take into our mind, and it becomes part of the way that we operate. And so one of the big things that we look at is our culturescape, as I said. We look to the media for advice on certain things, and the reality is that the machine is just made to provide us with constant negative news because that's entertainment, right? But the reality is that if you take a look at everything that's going on in the world around us, we're living in amazing times. We're living in the most socially connected era in human history. It's amazing that we're communicating through airwaves right now via technology. I'm a big technology buff. But if you really just take a look and read beyond, these are truly amazing times. And there's opportunity around every corner. It's just a matter of being open to it and really understanding how to take advantage of it and acting upon it. And so when we talk about beliefs, it's really ultimately our programming, our mental programming. And a belief that we have, which we're going to get into beliefs about finances right now, operates just like a thermostat. I live in Tucson, Arizona right now, and this is our nice temperature season right now. It's winter, right? But it doesn't get below 50 here in Tucson. But if I get cold, okay, I raise the temperature on my thermostat and I set it to a certain temperature. Now all of a sudden, if somebody opens the window and it lets the cold air in, the thermostat is going to turn on the heat and raise the temperature of the room again. Ultimately, it's going to keep the temperature at that level. And so a lot of times we have beliefs about success, we have beliefs about health, we have beliefs about finances, about wealth, and a lot of times those beliefs are set at a certain level and they're preventing us from achieving success. So again, the question is, where is your financial thermostat set to when it comes to opportunity, and what do you believe about these topics? This quote really puts it succinctly, because these beliefs, they reside in our subconscious. And they say that anytime you have some emotional reaction, it's because it's something in your subconscious. So beliefs are tied to your subconscious, and whatever you believe with feeling becomes your reality. So it kind of starts to make sense when you hear these quotes and you hear these types of phrases thrown out there, how it comes to pass. But the real question is, so what is your purpose? What is it that you desire? You know, what brought you on this conference call, on this webinar, to take a look at this opportunity? Maybe it was to, you know, get a friend off your back who's been pestering you to come and check out this opportunity about XANGO, to try some of the products or whatnot, and you finally decided to take a look at it. Well, I hope that the verbiage and some of the information that we're sharing so far is adding value to your life, because really what this is the way that this business functions and the way that these people function. This is how life operates. I always tell people that this opportunity on the surface is about products and it's about an opportunity, but when you dig down deeper, it's really a metaphor for life, and you learn so much. You can become so much through this industry of personal development. Ultimately, when we start talking about success and we start talking about finances, you know, the goal is not about riches. It's about freedom. And I have a very powerful question to ask people on the line. You know, what is the value of your working life? What is the value of your working life? Because one of the paradigms, one of the beliefs that a lot of people have in today's society is that you have to go to school, get good grades, get an education, right? Go to work for 40 years, right? 40 hours a week for 40 years to retire with 40% of what you're used to making. And the reality is that couldn't be further from the truth. And if you're still operating with that belief, it's really time to upgrade your mindset and start thinking differently. Because our minds operate just like computers, and we spend so much time trying to upgrade and update our operating systems, you know, our cell phones, our computers. But a lot of times we don't spend time on upgrading and updating the most important operating system that we have, which is our mindset. So the question is, what is the value of your working life? I'm 36 right now, and they say that by the time I get to retirement age, I'm supposed to have about $3 million in savings so that I can retire off the interest. And that's either in savings or some retirement account. Well, most people are living paycheck to paycheck, so I don't understand how that's even possible for people to save that kind of money if they're barely making ends meet. So ultimately, really what we're talking about here is freedom. It's financial freedom. And the goal isn't more money. I just said the goal is living your life on your own terms. To me, that is the definition of living limitless. It's not having to worry about where the next dollar is coming from. And what we're talking about here is residual income. And so something that we're really passionate about is educating people about creating multiple streams of income. And that we call MSI, multiple streams of income or multiple sources of income. And the reality is that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So keep in mind that this doesn't mean that the average millionaire has 7 different jobs. They have 7 streams of income. So let me go back and educate you guys on really the reality is that there are only 3 ways of earning money in this world. Okay, one is trading time for dollars, which is becoming an employee. Number 2 is trading money for money, which is investing. We've all heard of that one. And then number 3, you can't see it right there because of the video camera, but it's leveraging yourself off the efforts of other people. And that's building networks, guys. And let me tell you, most of us are programmed to only play in category 1, trading time for dollars. And to me, this is where all of us start, but to me, this is one of the most crazy things that anybody can do. Because here's my take on life. In my opinion, there is nothing more precious than time. They say that scarcity equals value, right? So in other words, the more scarce something is, the more valuable it is. So in the case of oil, it's scarce, right? So it drives value up, the value up. And diamonds, they're scarce. The value goes up. Gold is scarce. The value goes up. It's a commodity, right? So the reality is I don't know anything in this world that is more scarce than our time, because each and every one of us are only given a certain amount of time in this life, and what we do with it matters. But unfortunately, people that are in the M1 category and are trading their time for dollars are putting a price on what their time is worth, and for many people it's a minimum wage, and they're selling that time. They're devaluing their own time, which in my mind is priceless. So I'm very passionate about this. I love to educate people on this because I feel that this is one of the most empowering things that you could do for somebody is educate them on how to create multiple streams of income. Number 2 is trading money for money. This is investing. We won't get into this, but this is very, very complex, very tricky, and it requires a large amount of capital in order to get money. Money requires money to invest money, and it also requires a tremendous amount of skill that you need to have acquired through lifetime of practice or mentorship. The one that we really want to focus on is leveraging yourself off the efforts of other people and building networks. In my mind, that is one of the most powerful ways that you can actually start leveraging your time and playing and getting freedom back, getting your time back. And I like this quote from Robert Kiyosaki. He says, "You will never know true freedom until you achieve financial freedom." You know, they say that slavery in the United States is dead, it's gone, and it's not true. It's simply not true. We've reached now, there's an economic form of slavery, okay? And that's the reality, guys. It's kind of sad. So one of the reasons why I love network marketing and home-based business is I own a couple of traditional businesses. Just last year, we started a taxi golf cart shuttle service here in Tucson. And we shuttle people. We've got 5 carts, we're expanding, and it's traditional in the sense of it's brick and mortar. In fact, I had to invest a large amount of capital, and we're still not even profitable in our first year. And that's how traditional businesses operate. Well, why I'm very passionate about home-based business is because it gives us a model to be able to educate people and give them the mindset of being an entrepreneur. Because in my mind, being an entrepreneur is truly a mindset. It doesn't mean you own a business. It means you have the mindset versus the employee mindset. It means that you think in terms of residual income. You think in terms of passive income. You think exponentially. You don't think linearly. To me, that's an entrepreneurial mindset. And to me, having a home-based business, being able to set a home-based business that is risk-free, that doesn't require any large capital investment, where literally you could be profitable within your first month, it's an unlimited upside with a very limited downside. So just to mention a few things, you know, in network marketing right now, we're approaching the golden era. Over $182 billion in global sales, guys. That's huge. 99.7 million distributors globally, and it's practiced in over 100 countries. $70 billion in commissions worldwide. $70 billion are paid out in commissions to people around the world in network marketing. That is insane if you think about it. So network marketing, I just mentioned, you know, some of the highlights when it comes to traditional business versus network marketing. Well, number one, there's no inventory because the company takes care of that for you. There's no paperwork. It's a turnkey operation. No employees. That is a huge one, guys. That's like the X factor that everybody, all businesses, traditional businesses will fail because of their employees. No time constraints. No experience required. Unlimited income potential. Mentorship and training. This is a big one, guys, that you shouldn't take lightly because, as I mentioned before, mentorship is huge. When we talk about the science of achievement, there's a formula to success, right? So if you are plugged into a system and you're being mentored by millionaires, which you are in this case, through Sandy Cohen and Collie Butler and Ray Heron and all the $1 million earners that I have learned a tremendous amount from as well, they are mentoring you. That is the way the business model works. In order for them to become successful, they have to help you become successful. And I don't know any other business model in the world that operates this way, and that is gold, guys, because ultimately you really couldn't hire these professionals to teach you what they know, but you can get them for free by joining this network. So I love this. This is something that I'm very passionate about because you get a tremendous amount of knowledge and information from there. Now, one of the big things that I think does not get enough credit, but I'm sure I know Sandy for sure definitely gives this credit, is the tax advantages when it comes to network marketing. Two of the most popular and legal ways of reducing your obligations to Uncle Sam are tax credits and tax deductions. Okay, so it's not so much about what you make, but it's about what you keep. And let me give you a brief, real quick analogy example here of how this works. I'm going to quickly hide my screen here so you guys can see these numbers. But ultimately, I want to just give you an example of John Doe and Jane Doe. Okay, so you guys can understand the power of a home-based business and tax deductions. So John Doe, okay, has an income of $50,000 a year. He's taxed at about 25%. So he has to pay $12,500 a year in taxes. He doesn't really feel it. It comes out of his paycheck every pay period. So his net income, disposable income, is $37,500. So from here, he has to take out his home expense, his auto expense, his travel, his meals and entertainment, his cell phone. He may have about $15,000 or more in expenses just from those itemized right there, right? And that comes out of his $37,000. Now, let's take a look at Jane Doe. As I like to say, women are smarter than men. Sorry, guys, they really are. It's proven, scientifically proven. She has a home-based business. She also makes $50,000 a year, just like John Doe. But Jane Doe, when Uncle Sam comes in and says, hey, Jane, you owe me 25% of your 50, she says, wait a second, Uncle Sam, I have a home-based business, and I have some expenses to deduct. I've got product samples, I have a home office, I have auto expenses, my mileage, I have travel expenses, I have meals and entertainment, my cell phone, office equipment. A lot of these expenses overlap with her personal expenses. So when it comes down to it, she's deducting $50,000 by $15,000, which is the same amount that John Doe had in expenses. And so her taxable income is $35,000. So she's taxed at the $35,000. 25% of that is $8,750. So in essence, she just saved close to $4,000 in taxes just by owning a home-based business. Now, if that's not a striking example of why you need to start a home-based business, I don't know what is. Because if you're in business, part of it is learning how to operate business. And taxes is a huge thing that any savvy business owner knows about and takes advantage of. The other thing that we want to kind of focus on is the idea of exponential growth and really treating this like a career. I love this book by Richard Bliss Brooke. It's called The 4-Year Career. And if you haven't checked it out, you can buy it on Amazon, or you can look out on YouTube. There's like a 20-minute video also that does a great job of explaining this. But ultimately, network marketing, the power of network marketing is not only the fact that it's no risk and the tax advantages, but also when we talk about exponential growth and duplication and multiplication and leveraging yourself off the efforts of other people, that is the power behind network marketing, and this 4-year career really kind of illustrates this for us. And so we have this graphic here that talks about how this works. So if it took you, let's just say in this example, a 5-year career, 5 years of growth here, if it took you 1 year to find 4 business partners that saw the vision and wanted to join you on your journey of building wealth, of building an asset, and it took you an entire year to find 4 people, and then it took them 1 whole year to find their 4 people, you would have 16. If it took them a whole year to find their 4, you'd have 64 people in your organization. Them a whole another year to find 4, you'd have 256. And in the 5th year, all of a sudden, if those people found 4, you have 1,024 people for a total cumulative of 1,364 people in your organization. This is an example of exponential growth, okay? And if these people were consuming anywhere from $100 to $200 worth of product, personal consumption, we're not even talking about them going out and getting customer acquisition, you would have a monthly group volume of about $204,000 a month, of which XANGO pays out a certain percentage, but ultimately you're really talking about 6-figure income at this point. So I really love this analogy because too many people come into this industry and they take a look at this business model and the way that it is explained to them, the way that it's illustrated, it comes off as a get-rich-quick scheme. And the reality is this is not get-rich-quick, okay? This is get to work and then you can get rich. But it takes time. And so we have to have the right expectation that it takes time in order for these numbers, for the math to work out. But you have to be consistent and you have to work your business. It's called network marketing, right? So this is a great illustration that I love to talk about. But one of the things that you really want to pay attention to is the company that you align yourself with. So network marketing industry has been around for over 60 years, 60 plus years. And in that 60-year time period, there have been about over 60 companies that have made it over 10-year mark, despite there being thousands of companies being launched every decade. So if you think about it, you really want to pay attention to what company you get involved with, because the reality is that 95% of companies fail within their first 3 to 5 years. Now think about that. 95% of companies fail within their first 3 to 5 years. So what does that mean? It means that most people that get in network marketing will fail simply because of the choice they made in the company that they got involved in, because they don't even stand a chance for these numbers to play out, for this exponential growth to take shape. So you really have to choose a legacy company, and you really have to pick a company that's going to be around to stand the test of time. And so when you're choosing a company, and this goes to say for any company, not just network marketing companies, but if you take a look at the companies that make it out there, not just in traditional business, great companies start simply because the founders want to change the world and not make a fast buck. Think about that. It's meaning over money, guys, meaning over money. And so that kind of leads us to why we chose XANGO. These founders right here, tremendous, phenomenal people. I've had the pleasure of knowing them for 14 years. I've traveled the world with them, and who they are in person is who they are on stage, is who they are to every person. It doesn't matter what rank they are. They lead with their heart, and they're people of integrity. Day in and day out, they make the hard calls that are necessary to keep this company going with our best interests in mind. And I honestly, I view these people as not only business partners, but as family as well. And you guys would have to meet them in person. They're people that walk down the stage. They don't hide behind the curtains. They walk center stage at the conventions. They travel around. They meet the people, and they're truly a group of individuals that care about the community, about the people that they get in business with. But ultimately, what really made this company go in 2002, when this company was first launched, was this fruit right here. This company started because Joe Morton, this guy right here in the blue suit, great guy, he came across this fruit in Southeast Asia. And this is a person who had grown up in the health and wellness industry his entire life and prided himself on knowing every supplement from A to Z. And when he came across this fruit, he was blown away by the fact that he had never heard of this fruit, mangosteen. And so when he came back to the United States and he started doing research on this fruit, he was blown away with the science that he had discovered. You know, right now, this fruit right here, it's divided into two pieces. You have the pulp and you have the rind. The rind is where all these dense nutrients are found. Okay, they're called xanthones. And so when he went back, Joe, and he started doing research on this fruit, one of the resources that he used, and you guys can go into PubMed.gov and do the research yourself and type in xanthones, you will find thousands upon thousands upon thousands of research that support the medicinal properties of these phytonutrients in this fruit. As you can see right here, you have 3,274. I remember back in the day when XANGO first launched, this number was very small. I think it was in the 300s. If you look at the graph here on the right, which I'll blow up here, you can see this is the results, the scientific studies that have been published over the years. Right here, you can see that there is something that started to happen that started to increase the number of studies. Well, what happened was that XANGO was launched in 2002. And so as a result of the distributors and the company educating people on the benefits of this fruit, this company began to blow up. And it all revolved around one product, one singular focus, one single product. XANGO Juice in the very beginning launched in 2002, and over 6 years was able to do $1 billion, okay, with just one product. That was faster than Dell, Microsoft, Yahoo, and eBay. Okay, and in this 14-year time frame, we've created over 140 millionaires, 250,000 people earning $500 a month, 175,000 people earning over $1,000 a month, a true category creator. The question is, what could an extra $1,000 a month do in your life? For a lot of people, that is, you know, in 2008, that was the difference between a foreclosure. So that's something that we're really passionate about, is teaching people how to become entrepreneurs, but giving them a valid business model, a valid company, a viable business model that can help them do that with a product that is impacting thousands of people's lives. So one thing that I'm very passionate about, and is currently, as Sandy had mentioned earlier, is that XANGO right now, it couldn't be a better time to get involved with this company. XANGO 2.0 is what they're dubbing it. It began in 2013 with the launch of this Zalo brand right here, and that really catalyzed the beginning and the formulation and the concentration, which is going into momentum right now. And then it funneled into the launch of a skincare line, which is Aries right here. But Zalo is an all-natural antioxidant line. We have an anti-aging line, and then we have an energy supplement line, which consists of Limitless, Reload, and Ignite, which also works phenomenally well for fitness. I'm a big fitness enthusiast, and so I use those three products in the Zalo line for all my fitness needs. The XANGO Aries, we just took off with the 2-Minute Miracle Gel, where we brought on Shelly McGuire, which is the founder of the 2-Minute Miracle Gel, that has 14 years experience on the Home Shopping Network, and we just added that into the Aries line. All natural cosmeceutical, which means it's pharmaceutical grade results, being all natural. Guys, this stuff works. I'm not going to get into a lot of details about the product. You can go to XANGO.com to check it out. But all I can say about these products is you have a 14-year-old company that has a track record for introducing phenomenal products that work. So the products are not in question, backed by the science of the mangosteen. We also have the Pix line, which just came out and is causing just an unbelievable amount of momentum with its new weight management line that they launched. PIC stands for Put It in XANGO, and this is ultimately what this is herbal extracts. They're extracts that are made out of alcohol, out of herbs that are extracted in alcohol, and they increase absorbability and efficacy, and it works phenomenal. We're getting some testimonials, guys, with this PIC weight management line that is unbelievable. Our team launched a 90-day challenge at the beginning of February that is just going crazy. It's unbelievable. Ultimately, guys, the thing that I want you guys to walk away with is that there's a lot of things going on with XANGO, but the business is simple. It's really as simple as this, okay? It's free to start. There are no sign-up fees. You simply pick a product pack that makes the most sense for you that you want to build with. You become a product of the product. You drink the product, you share the product, and you're going to earn. You can either sign up people as customers, you can sign up people as distributors. Again, it's free, either or. You don't have to order any more product than your personal consumption. We train people to connect with people on a daily basis. I mean, right now, literally with social media, you can connect with people across the world. You follow up with people and you plug them into your team. You plug them into the system. You plug them into your upline. You plug them into the $1 million earners so that they can share with them and train and mentor them to do what they did so they can get what they got. You stick it out, you remain consistent, and ultimately you let the numbers play out for themselves. And over a period of time, your organization begins to grow, and what you start to experience is duplication. And this is what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about the M3 category. It's about duplication. John D. Rockefeller said, I would rather earn 1% off 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. And that is what he was talking about. If you pay attention, all the personal development books, all the financial advice, it all talks about this. It talks about leverage. So network marketing is prime for this. XANGO is prime for this. This team is prime for this. It's just a matter of where you are at your point in life and whether you're ready to take advantage of this. So I always tell people, we talked about who are your mentors, what do you believe in? Because a lot of naysayers out there would rather tell you no, that's not going to work, when the reality is that they haven't tried a single thing in their life. And they say that a statue was never erected for a critic. I love this quote right here that Ralph Waldo Emerson says. It's one of my favorite American poets. He says, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. So with that said, guys, that is going to conclude our presentation, the opportunity portion. Sandy, I don't know how you'd like to end this if you're still there, if you have anything else, or if that just will wrap it up.
Armando, I can't tell you how many people are just loving what you're sharing, not only in content, but love seeing you as well. So thank you for being present. Thank you for being the kind of leader that people will want to follow and lead by example. So thank you again. And yes, we record all of our calls. It's amazing. People keep asking. Yes, there isn't a call that we don't record. And probably tomorrow sometime I will email this out, and we'll also post it in XANGO United as well as XANGO University as well. So let me see if I can unmute this just for a second so everyone can say thank you, thank you, thank you to Armando. Let's see if I can unmute.
You are now unmuted.
Everybody, there you go. Say thank you, thank you, thank you to Armando.
Thank you, Armando.
Thank
you, Armando.
Thanks, Armando. Great job.
Hello, Armando. Aloha. Thank you.